Welcome to Big Little Stories. I'm Ivy Sharmetz. My guest today is a nonprofit leader whose impact at one of New Jersey's most impactful organizations has been marked by resilience, empathy, and a deep and beautiful belief in human dignity. Gwendolyn Love is the president and CEO of Lunch Break in Red Bank, where she and her incredible team focus on meeting needs and restoring hope for everyone they serve. Gwen, thank you so much for making the time to be here with me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I feel honored to be on, I guess, on your show. I
Well,
really, I really do.
the honor is mine, and Lunch Break, I will say, is one of my favorite organizations, and I have been a fan and a supporter of Lunch Break for many years. I want to talk about that, but one of the most fascinating things is as I've gotten to know Lunch Break, I've gotten to know you a little bit, and I think your impact is remarkable partially because of your own story. So let's start with you. I know you were one of seven children, right?
One of seven children, born in North Carolina, to a single mom. And my mother actually was leaving North Carolina, believe it or not, due to a somewhat of a domestic violence situation. Her husband at that time got up to go to work, and she put four of her seven children at that time. The others had already, gotten older and left. Four of her seven children, I was one of them, on a train, and we came to New Jersey
Wow.
to start a new life. And my mom, obviously having children, and especially at a time when women could not control a lot. You couldn't have a credit card, you couldn't have an apartment or a house in your name, and all those things like that. And she came up to New Jersey and stayed with some family members that were being a safe haven for all of us, and really just worked really hard. We were on assistance. We were in public housing. We were part of the system, and my mom worked her way out of that situation. And every milestone for her, getting a driver's license, getting her own apartment, all those things like that was a lot of struggle for her. And I watched that growing up. And when I was younger, I didn't always appreciate the struggle that she had. But as I got older, I could really admire the woman that she was and the strength that she had. But she was also an advocate for other people, because we were in public housing, and there were some conditions that she was not satisfied with, and she was one that spoke up and got in good trouble along the way, and was on many committees, and was a real fighter for all people that were living in poverty situations. I just admire my mom. She has gone on to receive her crown and glory many years ago. I believe that watching her struggle and all that she had to go through to have a better life for all of us, our kids, but for herself as well. When she was 60 years old, she bought a house, and it was something that was very meaningful for her. And unfortunately, she had cancer at that same time, and 62 years old, that the cancer took her life. But that was a dream that she achieved and worked really hard for. And I live in the shadows of her shoes. I
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah.
All of us do.
When you were a little girl, what did you want to be when you grew up? What did you think your life would look like?
Many things. I mean, honestly, a little girl, every time something glamorous came up, I
Sure.
wanted to be an airline stewardess. I wanted to travel the world. I wanted to, I mean, many things I thought that I wanted to do. And I think that my pathway really, and my journey has really started with my mother, honestly, watching her and her compassion that she had for everyone, but not just compassion. She just really felt like, like I do, that we're not going to just give people help.
Mm,
We're going to do it in a way that people will accept it. So that's where the respect and dignity come in.
yeah.
That lunch break is about as well, because it's not just a matter of, you're getting assistance because you need assistance, but people will walk away from assistance
Mm,
if they're treated badly,
right.
and that's a shame, because if you need the help and the organization is there to do just that, and people won't accept it because of how they're going to be treated. I think that really, my mother was about that. Lunch break is about that. I'm about that as well, treating people with dignity and respect. And so I don't know that I had hard goals. They changed all the time as I was growing up. But the journey led me here to lunch break, and just working with nonprofits, period.
How did you come to lunch break?
So one of the part of my journey was I worked in Neptune Township in their planning and zoning board as their planning and zoning board secretary, and I did many jobs there. While I did that, the secretary for the Economic Development Corporation, to the Board of Architecture Review, and then at some point, the state created a program called the Urban Coordinating
Mm,
Council.
mm,
And they wanted someone to go out into the community and represent change and how to come about change, and to go out and do a strategic plan and put together a community group and all those things like that. And initially, I wasn't taking the job. I was just representing the township just to pull this program together while they were hiring someone. And the person they hired, the day they were supposed to start, they quit.
oh,
And so the mayor actually walked into my office and said, "Gwen, will you just take this job? Because we've been working on this for like months and months and months." And so I reluctantly took the job. But what it did was it really took me out of the Office of Planning and Zoning Board for 5 years and into the community, and actually going door to door with the community for voter registration, for having coffee clutches in people's homes, talking
mm,
about the issues that they were going through, what they want to see in their community. It was all of that, and I had never experienced that one on one and that community feel with everyone. And there were some very tough meetings. People were angry and upset because of their quality of life right in their front door
right.
was not being addressed. And so this was an area in Neptune Township that, when the riots came down in Asbury Park and Westlake, it also impacted
Mm,
Neptune Township, and those conditions were never improved. And so there was a lot of anger, there was a lot of frustration that I had to kind of hear and take on. And it was a 5 year program. And the whole idea of the program was you're supposed to work yourself out of a job, and I did. From there, I actually was asked to come back to the Planning and Zoning Board because it was a 5 year grant program. And once I did that, I just said, oh, I missed being with people. I missed that whole troubleshooting and
sure.
really helping them like that. And so I left there, and I was asked to work with Affordable Housing Alliance for a couple of years, and I did do that, and I was director of administration. But it did still not put me in direct contact with the people that we serve. We had housing counselors, and they were the ones that really,
Right.
handled all the participants. So then this job came up, and I mean, honestly, I can't say I was kind of looking, but not looking, thinking that this was not really what I wanted, and it just came up, and I just put my hat in. I went through 3 interviews, and and was really blessed to have this opportunity, because I get the best of both worlds. I get the best of the world of working directly with the folks that we serve,
Yeah,
working with our donors, working with the board, the staff. I mean, the entire community, and so it's really it fills all the needs that I have personally and
sure,
professionally.
sure.
So I just it's a blessing for me and an honor for me to represent Lunch Break.
So you came to Lunch Break. I think it was a little more than 18 years ago, and Lunch Break was a different organization then, right? So talk to me about what it was. Now it does. We're going to get to everything that Lunch Break does and all the services that it provides, but it didn't start that way.
Right, right. So 1983 is when Lunch Break started, and Mrs. Norma Todd, I have to mention her. She was a trailblazer of her own, right? And she actually, along with a big group, because you don't do any of this by yourself.
Sure.
She did have a board, but she had a whole community behind her. And but I'm always amazed the fact that she started this in retirement. Okay, so
You're never too
that tells
old.
you a lot. You never that tells you about what a pioneer really she really
Sure.
was. And but yeah, but when and it started as a soup kitchen in the basement of the church, which is right around the corner,
Hmm.
and it started in their basement, and just giving out the hot meals is where it started. The clothing started in the basement of the pastor's
Hmm.
house, actually,
Yeah.
Pastor Arashaval, and but it just grew because Lunchbreak is always really about looking at what the need is and how they can, address it. And so it went from there to the pantry and toys for children. And I mean, it just went on and on and on. And when I came on, Lunch Break was open 5 days a week. We just provided hot meals, lunches,
Hmm.
and the pantry and the food pantry. We were open just a small window of like 2 hours a day. And on Saturday, we would just give out food packages that were being put together by St. Leo's the Great, which is in Lincroft. And they still,
Hmm.
believe it or not, do that to this day. And so that was pretty much it. And then the Christmas would come, and that was a pretty big deal. Christmas gifts being given out. And then we had a really big Thanksgiving Day meal on Christmas Day as well. And so, but we had clothing, but it was kind of like, people gave clothes. It wasn't really organized and really established like it is today. When I first came, I had two part-time staff. I now have 31
Wow.
staff,
Wow.
and we're still growing. We have over 20 programs as well. But one thing that has always stayed the same is the support of the community, the support of many, many volunteers, because we have so many volunteers that really help us to run this
Right.
organization and to run the programs as well. Um, Very committed board of trustees, and I mean down through the years. I mean, I have an amazing set of board of trustees now, but over the years that have worked with
Sure.
me, and I'm sure
Sure.
Mrs. Todd felt the same way as well. So, and an advisory council that we established a few years ago as well. So, Lunchbreak has really, really grown, and really to meet the needs of those that we serve in the community.
Yeah, I want to talk about some of the services that Lunch Break provides. We're going to take a very short break. When we come back, we'll talk more about Lunch Break with Gwen Love. We'll be right back. Gwen, I want to just run down some of the services that Lunch Break provides and just give people a sense of just really the holistic approach that Lunch Break takes to helping people. So there's the community kitchen, right? There's the Your Choice Pantry. And, whenever I see Your Choice Pantry, I always think choice is dignity. That's where some of that dignity comes in. Talk to me about why it's called Your Choice Pantry and why that's such an important piece of the Lunch Break motto.
So I guess the technical term for it is a client choice, but we were trying to figure out a word that we wanted to call it instead of client. We didn't want it to start with client, and we
Right.
were just kind of brainstorming. And my director of operations, Kevin, came up with Your Choice, and I said, well, what else? That's good. That's what it is. And
Right.
and the reason when I first came on, it wasn't Your Choice Pantry. We didn't have the facility, first of all, to be able to do that,
Right.
right? All the food and everything went downstairs. The pantry was downstairs. And so, there was a lot of up and down stairs, up and down, taking food downstairs, bringing food up and all that. And, but with our first capital campaign that I was here, we were able to have an actual pantry on the first floor, which was
Mm.
wonderful. And people were, and we said, that was kind of like the direction that we wanted to go with everything we were doing is more dignity, more respect,
Yeah.
more opportunity for people to want to come. That the last thing you want are there to be people in your community that need the help and know that there are resources but are too embarrassed to go. And so there were tags that we had to knock off, right?
Right.
And so also to have a place that when people walk in the door, they feel good about it. They feel okay. They're not coming to an institutionalized
Right.
organization,
Right.
right? So your choice, the whole idea of going from, here's a bag and take that, everything in there is what we think you're going to, we're just going to give you what we have.
Right.
To your choice was part of that whole evolution of the dignity and respect that we wanted everyone to feel. And so, number one, it people are now, picking the foods that they're really going to use.
Right.
There's no waste, right? And so that alone provides dignity and choice, but it
Mm.
also saves us from buying things that people don't need and
Right.
aren't going to use, right?
Right.
So it just makes sense on both ends, and so that's why we did it, and it's very successful. Volunteers that walk around with our guests are actually able to develop a rapport with them, which is really
Hmm.
wonderful. And so it really just kind of speaks to the entire experience of coming in and getting the food and the help and the resources that you need.
Well, and I've been there and I've seen the way the volunteers interact with the clients, and they are always so warm and so welcoming and so friendly that anything that could have been done to remove the stigma that comes with going to get help has been removed, and it really feels like it's just a beautiful
Right.
experience, which is a credit to you for being able to do that. And it's a similar thing with Clara's Closet, right? Like, it talked to me about
Yeah.
Clara's Closet.
Clara's Closet, oh my God, what a transformation that
Yeah.
really has had because, being able to come downstairs and and first of all, it's a beautiful facility. Walk, the elevator door is open. You see with the glass windows all over, everything's organized. The
Mhm.
volunteers and the staff, they do such an amazing job organizing everything. And we have clothing for children, men and women, prom outfits, clothes suited for success, helping people get ready for jobs. I mean, everything. But the thing is, again, it's all about, how people are able to feel, when they come in.
Sure.
Everything is clean, everything is organized. You have dressing rooms. People are there to assist you. So, I think that, and when people are dressed and they feel good about themselves,
Yeah.
you feel more empowered, right? And whether you're going to your child's school that day, or whether
Right.
you're going to a job interview, or
Right.
whether you're going to a doctor's office, the fact that you can feel good about, what you're wearing, and everything is donated.
Right.
All the clothes, all the accessories, the shoes, everything, all donation, and everything is free. And so, we try to make it a really, great experience, and we're always adding different features as well. We now have two shoppers that are coming in every other Monday,
Mhm.
stylists, I should say, that are
Okay.
coming in every other Monday. June and Joy, I'm not sure if you know them. They have a shop at the Galleria, and they're coming in and they're dressing our guests,
Yeah.
and and they're just transforming them,
Sure.
really, and it's pretty exciting what they're doing. We're just so
And you
excited and very proud of that program.
and you say that all of the clothes are donated. So many of us have dresses or clothes that are sitting in our closet that we've maybe worn once. Sometimes we've never worn. I know for a fact that people often donate clothes that still have the tags on them sometimes. But what a beautiful place to bring things that you may no longer need, but to someone else, it provides them with a whole new opportunity that they might not otherwise have, and it's just done again in such a beautiful way. So there's there's life skills. I know you have a bunch of youth services, health and wellness. The services you provide for people who are homeless. Um, the motto of Lunch Break is "Help for Today, Hope for Tomorrow." Can you talk to me about hope and why hope is so important?
So yeah, I mean, yes, hope is important because, again, we don't want to just give out, food and give out clothes. I mean, those are things that are definitely people need for today, and that's why we have
Sure.
the tag that we do. But the hope is even that we have is that we're providing more than just help for today. That we want to encourage and empower people to go to that next level of their
Yes.
life. And some people, they're just going to be with lunch break for a very short time. There's a little stumble in their life right now, and they just need a little help, a little hope, and they're on their way. They get the things they need, and now the job is back or whatever it is.
Right.
But there are people that need a lot more. And so the hope is that, the life skills program with all the various, opportunities that are there, helping people with their finances, their budgeting, their credit scores, all those things like that, but then peeling away, other issues that are there that may be some mental health issues, some family issues, that maybe now we're now directing them for counseling and things like that. Might be some substance abuse, but many times that hope is almost the biggest barrier, honestly, than all the other things that are needed, really, because once they're listened to, once they're heard, once they're shown respect and dignity, that's building that hope. That's building that trust and that hope that, I can still be a major part of society and have a good life and go on. And there are resources that are right in the community.
Sure.
We're, not just lunch break. I mean, where there's a plethora of nonprofits in the area that are doing amazing work, right? But now with that hope, and now with having that friendship and fellowship along the way with someone that cares and is hearing them and seeing them and willing to help, because with hope you can do a lot. When you feel good that about yourself, and that you're worthy, number one, of getting better and doing better. That really takes people a long way. But it's amazing when you see people walk in the door and they're just so solemn sometimes, They really, really are. They just don't think that, even coming to a place like lunch break, that they're worthy. And then they come in and they get the fellowship and they get the resources and there's help. And then there's other really tangible support there to help them move along. And I think that when you see that transformation happening, the process, it's really pretty. It's pretty amazing.
Well, and anyone who knows you for more than 2 seconds knows that you're the absolute perfect person to be leading this work because of your heart and your passion and your care, and what you're able to provide and the culture that you have built at Lunch Break. It's a beautiful thing, and I know you have changed and saved many, many lives, Gwen, with the work that you do. And thank you for making our community better and just making the world a little bit of a better place. If people want more information or they want to support, what's the website?
Lunchbreak.org is the best place. And then this way you can get to see everything. Our history is there, our board members' names are there, staff, all of our programs.
It's all there.
Please. And then you can also just walk in our door at Lunch Break at 121 Dr. James Parker Boulevard in Red Bank.
Awesome.
Just come in.
Gwen, we're going to do this quickly. We end every show with something we call 3 big little questions, just a way to get to know people better. So we're going to do them rapid fire. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
How do you get yourself out of a bad mood?
Oh my God. That's not a fast question. I can't answer that. How do I get myself out of bed? Well, you know what? Honestly, coming to Lunch Break helps me.
Yeah.
Because I just, it just really does.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
My go-to karaoke song.
I know you got a song.
September by Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh, okay. And what's your favorite spot in New Jersey? Other than Lunch Break.
Oh my God, these are hard. These are hard.
Last one.
I'm sorry. My favorite spot in New Jersey
is Lunch Break. Fine, it's Lunch Break.
Lunch Break. It's Lunch Break. Almost go back to Lunch Break.
Got it. Gwen, thank you so much for making the time. I really appreciate it. I'm a huge fan of yours. I am grateful for your work. I'm grateful to have you in my orbit, and just thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate this.
Of course. Thank you. That will do it for today's show. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Big Little Stories Show. I'm Ivy Sharmatz. I'll talk to you next time.